My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand today. You have been measuring your life by what is missing, and because of that, you have overlooked what is being built. You have spent so much time looking at closed doors that you have not noticed the new path quietly forming beneath your feet. I know the questions you carry. I know the disappointments you rarely talk about. I know the moments when you smile in front of others, while secretly wondering if your situation will ever change. But listen carefully. Not every season is meant to look successful. Some seasons are designed to make you stronger. Some seasons are designed to teach you what cannot be learned through comfort. Some seasons are designed to prepare you for blessings that would overwhelm you if they arrived too soon. Imagine a craftsman shaping a piece of wood. The wood cannot understand why it is being cut, sanded, and pressed. From its perspective, every part of the process feels uncomfortable, yet the craftsman sees the finished creation long before the work is complete. In the same way, I see what you are becoming long before you can recognize it yourself. You have been asking me for answers while I have been building foundations. You have been asking me for speed while I have been creating stability. You have been asking me to remove every challenge while I have been using some of those challenges to strengthen parts of you that would otherwise remain weak. My child, there is a difference between being abandoned and being prepared. Many times you have mistaken preparation for abandonment. When progress became slow, you assumed I had stepped away. When prayers were not answered immediately, you assumed I had stopped listening. When opportunities disappeared, you assumed the story had ended. But I have never left your side. Not when you cried alone, not when anxiety kept you awake, not when disappointment visited your heart again, not when you questioned your own future, not when you struggled to believe that better days were still possible. I remained beside you through every moment. You often imagine that my presence should feel dramatic. You expect thunder, signs, and unmistakable evidence. Yet some of my greatest works happen quietly. The sunrise arrives without noise. The roots of a tree grow without applause. Healing begins before symptoms disappear. In the same way, my work in your life often starts long before you can recognize it. There have been days when you felt forgotten. You watched others move forward while you seemed stuck in the same place. You saw people celebrating victories while you continued carrying unanswered questions. You compared your chapter to their chapter and concluded that you were falling behind. But you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not invisible to me. The timetable you compare yourself to was never the timetable I created for you. Every life unfolds differently. Every story contains unique lessons. Every journey follows its own path. What appears to be a delay may actually be protection. What appears to be a setback may actually be redirection. What appears to be the end may simply be a turning point you cannot yet recognize. My child, I see the effort you continue to make, even when nobody notices. I see the responsibilities you carry. I see the battles you fight within your own thoughts. I see the courage it takes for you to keep going when the results are not immediate. There are moments when you underestimate yourself. You focus so heavily on your weaknesses that you forget how much you have already overcome. You remember every mistake, but ignore every victory. You remember every failure, but overlook every obstacle you successfully passed through. Look back for a moment. Remember the situation you thought would destroy you. Remember the season you believed you would never survive. Remember the disappointment that convinced you everything was over. You are still here. You survived. You endured. You continued moving forward. That was not an accident. My strength carried you through moments when your own strength was not enough. The enemy wants you to focus entirely on what has not happened yet. He wants you to stare at unfinished chapters until you lose hope. He wants you to believe that waiting means losing. But waiting is not losing when I am involved. Waiting with me is preparation. Waiting with me is growth. Waiting with me is positioning. Think about an arrow before it is released. It moves backward before it moves forward. From a distance, that backward movement could look like failure. Yet it is actually creating the momentum necessary for the arrow to reach its destination. Some of what feels like backward movement in your life is actually preparation for forward progress. The opportunities that did not work out were not all meant to remain. The people who walked away were not all assigned to stay. The plans that failed were not all designed to succeed. Had every door opened, you would have walked into places that were never intended for you. Had every request been granted immediately, you would have missed lessons that are now strengthening your character. My child, your future is not as fragile as you think. One disappointment cannot destroy the plans I have for you. One mistake cannot erase your purpose. One difficult season cannot cancel your destiny. You have spent too much time worrying that everything depends upon your ability to control every outcome. Release that burden. You were never created to carry it. Trust me with the things you cannot manage. Trust me with the things you cannot predict. Trust me with the things you cannot understand. You do not need to know every detail of the journey in order to take the next step. A traveler carrying a lantern does not need to see the entire road. The light only needs to reveal enough for the next step. In the same way, I often provide guidance one step at a time. Not because I want to frustrate you, but because I want you to walk with me instead of racing ahead without me. There is wisdom being developed within you right now. There is patience being formed within you right now. There is resilience being built within you right now. These qualities may not seem exciting today, but they will become valuable tomorrow. The blessing you seek is important, but who you become while waiting for it is even more important. Never assume that I am only working on your circumstances. Many times I am also working on your heart. There are conversations being arranged that you know nothing about. There are opportunities approaching that have not yet appeared. There are connections forming that will matter later. There are answers moving toward you even now. The story is still unfolding. My child, stop speaking to yourself as though defeat is certain. Stop assuming the worst before the next chapter begins. Stop allowing fear to write conclusions that have not happened. Fear is a poor storyteller. It always predicts disaster while ignoring possibility. I am the author of your story, and I am still writing. The chapter you are living through today is not the final chapter. The struggle is not the final chapter. The confusion is not the final chapter. The waiting is not the final chapter. The disappointment is not the final chapter. There is more ahead. There is healing ahead. There is growth ahead. There is restoration ahead. There is purpose ahead. There is peace ahead. When the time is right, pieces that currently seem unrelated will begin fitting together. What now appears random will reveal its purpose. What now feels confusing will become understandable. You will look back and recognize that I was guiding you, even when you thought you were walking alone. Until then, remain faithful in small things. Continue showing kindness. Continue choosing hope. Continue speaking life over your future. Continue believing that better days are possible. Continue bringing your worries to me. Continue trusting even when certainty feels far away. Small acts of faith create larger results than you realize. A single seed eventually becomes a tree. A single step begins a journey. A single prayer can start a transformation. Never underestimate what I can do with something small that is placed in my hands. My beloved child, if you could see everything I am arranging beyond your current view, your heart would be filled with peace. But for now, I ask you to trust me, not because you understand every detail, but because I have been faithful before. I was faithful in your past. I am faithful in your present, and I will remain faithful in your future. So rest tonight knowing this truth. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not fighting alone. You are not standing at the end of your story. You are standing in the middle of a chapter that is still being written. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep believing. What I have started in your life, I will not leave unfinished. And sooner than you expect, you will begin to see evidence that I have been working all along.